we believe you can grow to be a millionaire in all 6 aspects of health. Swear there's a third finger. There it is, all 6. We share tips to improve your physical, mental, intellectual, social, financial, obviously, and your spiritual health. We believe building an entire life requires all 6 aspects of health. Today, we're shooting in the Dominican, and I'm on my phone because my computer didn't want to work, obviously. So hopefully we can still have a great show. We've got some awesome guests. Today, we're focusing on spiritual health and how to improve it with your purpose. If you have never seen Millionaires Are Made, this is the show built on the fundamental beliefs that every person you meet knows something you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. We are on a mission here to teach the world how to grow into the healthiest, happiest millionaires in all 6 aspects of life, not just your bank account. So today we got 3 awesome guests to give you 3 awesome tips on how to improve your spiritual health with purpose. And to remove as much bias as possible, we do not talk about our tips or advice with our guests backstage. So when they come on air and share their advice, it will be our first time hearing it as well. Woohoo! Audience, this is an interactive show. Please feel free to question, comment, whatever it is. We do answer our questions live on air, which is pretty cool. So feel free to drop those in the comments and we'll read them out loud. Real quick, we are going to do a follower shout out. If you want to be shouted out on the show, just follow us and we'll try to get to you. On Facebook, Jesse Steele, thank you so much. Instagram, Robert. TikTok, Keith Gaskin. And YouTube, Drew Rothenberger. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. That's our audience shout out. Guests, if you want to be a guest, we are always looking for guests. And as you know, we believe everyone has something that they can share. Please sign up. That link's being dropped right now. On that link, we also have our topic submittal part. So if you have a topic, maybe you're struggling financially, maybe it's your weight and your physical health, maybe you have some sort of disease that you're not sure how to work with, let us know. We will go out and find 3 awesome guests to give you 3 tips on how to get through that hump in life. And as usual, it's 2025. If you like what we do, please don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, whatever else it is on whatever medium you are. Definitely help support us and keep this show running. And as a give back, I love giving out free consultations. There's nothing better than sitting down and watching someone learn and grow and implement and come back the next week and talk about all the cool stuff they did. So if you ever want to sit down and talk one-to-one, I love doing it. That link's being dropped right now. And the one last link is our merch. If you love our show, please just buy merch. It's so cool. We're trying to create the best stuff. Give us ideas. We'll go out and make it. But merch links being dropped now. Before we get to our first guest, we do have to go through some of our sponsors so the show can keep going. First off, we have Brian Wright. Brian is someone that's an expert at getting your brand in front of high-level entrepreneurs and personal growth leaders. Reach out to Brian at Ultimate Achievers Magazine, where industry icons meet a content-first audience. He'll help you write a book. He'll help you write your second book. Brian has an awesome big podcast you can be on too. He's super great at that kind of stuff. Next sponsor, Sarah Jones, crazy awesome human. Used to have a shitty life, hated her marriage, had money, didn't know how to use it, was broke and financially disastrous. Sat down with her husband and said, fuck all this, let's rebuild it. And now she teaches everyone else. She's a financial coach, guiding couples, individuals, and small businesses to build fun, healthy money habits. And then she travels the U.S. in like an 80-foot RV with like 6 other cars attached to it with her husband around the United States. Next, we have Biz by Right, the matchmaking service for people who love buying and selling businesses almost more than they love their own families. They find cash flowing deals, vet them with AI wizardry, and then connect buyers and sellers faster than you can say due diligence. Go visit buybyright.com and your wallet will thank you. Your accountant may cry. And our final sponsor is Francine Julin, a veteran turned author inspiring families to explore mindfulness together. Her story and book spark confidence, calm, and connection for kids and parents alike. Connect with Francine to spark all that in your family's life. And that will bring us to our first guest. Her name is Avital. Avital, tell us, who are you?
Who I am. I can start with who Siri thinks I am. Siri thinks I am tall. That is not physically true. A more internal thing because it's my goal to provide wisdom to lighten your step and power to move you forward. This starts with me healing from an autoimmune disorder beyond what was expected. So I furthered my training in spirituality and healing as I was going from medication to meditation and sharing those principles around the world. And then what I've done is transformed this knowledge using my background in leadership for how entrepreneurs and corporate leaders can achieve greater success, utilizing emotional intelligence, motivation, and greater communication skills. And then I'm also a spiritual teacher, hosting a program every Monday night where there's close to 300 recordings, just figuring out how do we approach all the different areas of life in a way that creates more ease and more fluidity. So you want to take that next bold move in your career, you want to overcome anger, you want to feel more energetic. I've done all of these things, and I'm working on putting all of that content into books.
Avital, you're doing way too much, making us all look bad over there. But let's focus it down. I got a very, very important specific question for you. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with purpose, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Yes. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. A very easy key is utilize your strengths in your daily activities. More specifically, I am getting a degree in positive psychology. I just got a BA and I'm on my way to getting the master's. And there's something called character strengths. And when they're used intentionally, and research shows that we can create more meaning, resilience, and mental health, you could figure out what your character strengths are by going to purpose.pro.viasurvey.org. And then I'll actually see your results in there and I can support you with that. But this is something like having kindness or having perseverance. This is something like a waitress who hates her job, finding out that her character strength is social intelligence, and then instead turning an ordinary customer interaction into this meaningful moment of their day, and turning her work around to have lots more vibrancy. And this type of shift that we make of just simply integrating our strengths that we value, in 6 months, we're going to still see less depression, less anxiety, greater life satisfaction, and happiness. So imagine what shifts in just 5 minutes a day when you lead with your strengths and purpose.
Oh, man, Avital, that's great. Tell me, where on your life journey did you learn this tip?
I'd say the first time was when I was healing from an autoimmune disorder beyond what was expected, but I didn't know that was going to happen. I just knew I was getting sicker. I was wondering if I was going to die. And something in me just said, you're going to figure this out because you've got a purpose. You're going to be helping thousands of people. So that was a driving force. And what I started to do as I was healing was also interview all different kinds of health and healing experts. So that's what went into my book, Healing Happens. So one of those experts is Dr. Bernie Siegel. He was saying that his cancer patients who would normally be deemed terminal were surviving their treatments if they had a reason to live. And a lot of the other professionals in my book also confirmed that theory. But on top of that, I mentioned that I have been studying positive psychology. And when we add meaning and a higher purpose, we're going to have more eudaimonic happiness, which is the happiness that's longer lasting. It also helps somebody get into a flow state where you lose a sense of time and space, but where you feel a sense of inner peace within you and you can access your peak performance. So this is shown to lower your stress, to reduce risk of chronic illness, to give you a longer life expectancy, to improve your engagement, optimism. I've actually created a full-fledged program called Full Bodied Success Mastery. But if you utilize these character strengths at purpose.pro.viasurvey.org, I didn't create the site, by the way. So It's not mine, but
Copy that link and put it in the chat, and we'll share it.
okay. I did share it earlier, so hopefully it's being shared, but I'll copy that in there again. Anyways,
Awesome.
a very quick way to just access adding more purpose
Oh,
is by checking what your character strength is and getting creative with utilizing it.
I love it. All right, we got that link. We dropped it. Avital, thank you so much. We're going to move on to our next guest, and we'll bring you out in the end for the round robin. Next up, we have Michelle. Michelle, tell us, who are you?
Hi, I am Michelle Steiner. I am a writer, a speaker, a photographer, and a paraeducator. I live in Pennsylvania with my husband Ron and our two cats, Jack and Sparrow. And I work in a school as a teacher's aide, and I find so much purpose in that too, because I work with a lot of students who have disabilities, and I have one myself. So I just find that all that purpose that is involved, that I used to always wonder, okay, where is all this purpose happening for having one? And I got to see throughout my life how that is really is not only played to help me, but is really done that to help other students. Sometimes I might have students that they don't like having their disability. They don't like who they are, and they're afraid to speak up. So I sometimes have that empathy and that perspective to go in and to be able to tell them it's okay to have the disability and to show them how to speak up for themselves. And I also do this at my blog, Michelle's Mission. Writing and reading have always been really healing for me as a child. And I love to go in and educate other people about learning disabilities and hidden disabilities, because so many people are not aware of them. And I also find purpose with photography. I'm not able to drive because of my disability. So I get that chance to literally stop and smell the roses. And people will say, well, you notice details that I would miss in a flower. And rather than being upset if I don't have a ride to get somewhere, I get that chance to notice those details. And if I was driving, there was just so much in my life that I would miss.
That's a very, very, very good point. Michelle, thank you so much. Wow, that's crazy. All right, Michelle, I think I've got an important question for you. If I
Okay.
wanted to improve my spiritual health with my purpose, what piece of advice would you give me?
I think the best piece of advice is to look for the reason behind the situation and to really think about that and to look and to see, okay, maybe even if it's a really difficult one, why did this happen? And sometimes you may not have that answer right away. It may not come today. It may not come tomorrow. Sometimes it comes in years later and you just have this moment where you're like, oh, that's why that happened, because I was in that place where I could help somebody else out. And even if it is something that maybe can seem like it's senseless or doesn't have that, think about how you can use that maybe to help another person that has gone through that or to prevent that.
Wise words, Michelle. Where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
I learned a lot of this advice just with working with students. I also learned it at college with just having those classes and having that success in my life. And just in my interactions, and also my parents were really great too. I remember my dad always telling me this success doesn't always come in the package that you expect, but sometimes it comes in something even better. And I've found that to be true.
Michelle, thank you so much. We are going to move on to our next guest and bring out Dr. Len. Dr. Len, who are you? Dr. Len, I think you're muted. Didn't say that word.
Is that
Oh,
better?
thank goodness. Yes. Tell us who you are.
I am a very good doctor and speaker. I'm a terrible tech person, so I apologize for the headaches I've created. Yeah, that is my one week. That's my kryptonite stuff. I'm Dr. Len Lopez. I live in the Dallas area here, and I guess for the past 30 years, I've been in health and fitness and in natural medicine. My background is a nutritionist, strength and conditioning coach, chiropractic physician. So that's what I've been doing for the last 30 years. And really, it was a couple of years ago I created worked with my patients all these years. I created a simple tool that I've been using for about 20 years just to help track how you feed your body, how you feed your mind, how you feed your spirit. And, we all know you are what you eat and you are what you think. But a lot of people, they sometimes assume that they're doing a good job eating and a good job thinking, but really they're not until you get some real, facts and some good numbers on there. Kind of like, businesses, I always say, they track profits and sales and revenue. How are we as the owners of the CEOs of MMI, me, myself, and I, we're the CEOs of ourselves. Are we nourishing our body? Are we nourishing our mind? Are we nourishing our spirits? And so in 2 minutes, you can quickly track how well you are feeding your body. I know everybody's tracking their rings, or they're tracking, they got 10,000 steps, and it's like, fantastic. That's for your body. What are you doing for your mind? What are you doing for your spirit? Are you doing anything? I mean, there's kind of a little balance out there that you need to have. And so sometimes when you start tracking, you really see, and in a week's time, when I created the app, they said, "Wow, this is really cool. I can really quickly see." And I was physical for the last 5 days. I exercised. You shaded in the feet. I ate real good today, shaded. But what about my thoughts? Feeding good thoughts out there. You don't got to tell yourself a bazillion times that I feel great, I'm a winner. But what you feed your mind is going to impact what's going to happen to you. Not just it affects your whole physiology. And so, hey, I am taking 1 or 2 minutes to tell myself I'm healthy, wealthy, and wise, or whatever your little phrase is. I'm bigger, better, badder. Whatever your phrase is, but you got to remind yourself that you are. God, we spend what is the statistic? We have about 50,000 thoughts a day, and sometimes we tend to have more negative thoughts throughout the day. So you got to sprinkle some of those positive thoughts out there. And so, Dr. Lynn today is all about trying to, instead of just help people eat right and train smart, now I want to see if I can help them eat right, train smart, and think better, so they can get to where they want to be in their life. So, that's all I can say right now. It's called 5 steps a day.
Let me ask you an important question.
Shoot.
If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with purpose, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Can you do, if I only work out my body once a week, twice a week, I don't know what kind of physical shape I'd be in, but I know I wouldn't be as physically strong as I would like to be. So however you want to work your spiritual body, your spiritual self and everything, you have to do it more than just once a week, twice a month, twice a year. So there's all kinds of ways you can strengthen your spiritual muscles. Just, are you doing it? And again, that's what 5 steps a day is all about. It just kind of helps you, and it just helps you kind of track to see, are you really doing what you need to do? I mean, it's accountability and feedback.
You talked a little bit about this, Dr. Lynn, but where in your life journey did you learn this?
Probably about in my 3rd or 4th decade of life. I had lots of really great successes here and there, had so many highs and lows. And, I think when I got out on my own, I was in my mid-20s and realizing life has been fun. I'd done a lot of stuff, but then I started realizing when I was competing with other people to try to climb the proverbial, I don't want to say corporate ladder, because I've been self-employed for more than 35, 40 years, but it's, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? And reading. Now, heck, I wish we had this back in the 70s and 80s when I was around, where you could just put, grab your phone and listen to something. But back then you had to read. And so just reading lots of books and stuff like that just helped me start thinking more, maturing, and, becoming a parent, it definitely helped a lot too.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lynn. We're going to move on to our next guest, and we'll bring you out for the round robin here in just a second. Next up, we have Lori. Lori, tell us, who are you?
Hey, happy Wednesday. You know me, Austin. And for those who don't, I'm a serial entrepreneur, I am a mom, teacher, grandma. I'm about to have my second grandbaby any day now. So I'm sitting here with great anticipation. I just
Congrats.
Thank you. I can't wait. It's so exciting. Definitely a crazy cat lady. That's never going to stop. So, I'm always tied up in something, and, just love being able to talk about, experiences in life, and happy to be able to share on here with everyone. I didn't really know even the subject of what you were going to ask, and I just been thinking about it and listening to everyone talk. And I think for me, it just feels really
Hey,
different.
let me ask a question then.
Yeah.
Lori, if I wanted to improve my spiritual health with my
Mm,
purpose, what tiny piece
mhm.
of advice would you give?
Yeah. I think if you can't hear your soul when your brain's screaming, like that's an issue. Like that's what came to my head. It's just kind of like any relationships that no longer serve you, knowing what your purpose is, going back to your why, sitting alone with yourself, right? Like you got to hear yourself at the end of the day, because I mean, hate to say it, but we're with ourselves nonstop, right? Our thoughts, our stories, what we tell ourselves. I think it's
Ain't
choosing
that
peace.
true?
I think it's choosing peace, even when like chaos and panic is like super loud. Just slowing down. It's kind of funny. I even said this morning, sometimes we have to just like slow down to speed up, right? Um, I think the first speaker, Avital, like, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, like, there's a big following for her shoes. She has such great stuff to say. Yeah, Avital, thank you. But I think it's really just like coming back and connecting to your purpose.
I love it. Lori, where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
The hard way. Life experience the hard way, and then being able to come back and learning how to reflect on like, why are things not where I want them to be? Why am I still, in the same position, still in the state of chaos? um, Surrounding yourself with better people, right? Looking at your inner circle, knowing who you're around. So I was that kid that you could tell me 50,000 times not to do something till you're blue in the face, and I do it anyways. So yeah, I learned the hard way. I learned that way.
Awesome, Lori. We're going to bring everyone out and start our round robin here. Let's bring out Dr. Lynn. We'll bring out Avital and Michelle. Audience, this is a great time for you to ask any questions. Oh, how nice. Lori, you're a grandma at 25, apparently.
Hey, it's my skincare regimen.
All right, let's start off. Avital, can you refresh what your tip was for us?
Yes, that is to integrate your greatest strengths in what you do in each day. If you're a waitress, utilizing social intelligence, making each customer interaction amazing. Mine is honesty. And it's not just about like speaking the truth, but it's about being a truth seeker and giving that information to others. Right? So it could be for me spending at least 5 minutes. Actually, I spend most of almost every day, but spending at least 5 minutes tuning into studying information or sharing information to others. But somebody else could do like 5 minutes on social media a day. Perseverance, if that's your highest strength and you're already really good at that, maybe you could be somebody else's accountability partner and help them stay on track and really go for what they're trying to access.
Oh, man, we have a comment on your chair. Oh, boy.
Just a reminder, you can do the full survey at purpose.pro.viasurvey.org. But if you just don't want to, if you want to get to this faster, just go to viacharacter.org and look at the list of 24 and decide which one you want to work on.
Heard that link too. Michelle, what are your thoughts on Avital's tips?
I love focusing on what your strengths are, because that has been something for me that has been so powerful. If I focus on all the things I can't do or the things that really frustrate me, I'm very negative. I'm not a happy person. And when I focus on things I can do and I love to do, if I focus on writing and I focus on reading or taking pictures, those are things that I feel empowered. I feel like that's something I can definitely do and I love doing and it brings me joy. And I think that even with people without disabilities do that too. If somebody doesn't like art, well, they're not probably going to want to be drawing or going to museums or doing stuff like that. They're going to do what they love, and it's not any exception for people that do as well.
Good point. Good point. We got a comment from the audience, and we're going to start with Dr. Len on it. What without purpose we are nothing. Give us a response to that, Dr. Len.
Well, yeah, purpose gives you something to focus on. It's kind of like I always say, we've always heard about the land of milk and honey, right? And I always tell my patients, what is your land of milk and honey? Whether it's success of this, or this, do you have a goal, a purpose? And so having something to set sail to, and I think that's the most important thing. Unfortunately, there's so many people, especially like in their teens and 20s, they may not really grasp hold of that of where they want to go until they get older. But as I always say, if you don't know where your land of milk and honey is, don't be squawking when you land at the land of heartaches and headaches. So figure out where you want to go and then go after it.
Lori, what are your thoughts on Dr. Len's response?
I'm not going to lie, it cut out on my end. I apologize. I caught the first half of it, but I'm sure it was absolutely amazing because I heard what he said in his opening. So I really do apologize.
All right, Lori, tell us, without purpose, we are nothing. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it comes back to like understanding what your purpose in this life is. Like, what are you here for? I really feel like I am here to change lives of other people because I was blessed with a beautiful life. It wasn't easy. I was definitely put here because I understand that I can do more than other people. And it's not coming from a sense of ego, but it's coming from a sense of confidence that I see other people that just don't have that ability. They maybe still be living in old past stories that they tell themselves on a daily, that they're still in that belief mindset that they can't break through. And it's something to where, we all came into this world with people around us that loved us, but we all came to this world too, walking the same path of being, a lot of projecting onto us. And so it's just about, for me, just knowing back, like, what is my purpose and how can I help? How can I show up for you in authenticity and really just step into that moment of just saying like, hey, I'm just like you. I'm here just like we are. And it really goes back to, like I was saying, like for me, it's like cleaning up that inner circle and surrounding yourselves with great people and just really stepping into like that light of feeling in that divine moment that you are where you're supposed to be. Like that is the purpose of just like reaching out with like that vibe, that energy with all those people in your circle. So I don't know. Sorry if I'm getting cheesy on you or anything, but that's just how I feel about all of it.
All right, another comment from the audience. Cool. I like this. Simple. I love how everyone brings their own unique perspective. What are you guys' thoughts on that? And then we have a very in-depth comment coming up next.
This is great because it's actually what I feel at the end of the day, everyone is saying is to be you. And we're all doing it from our own perspective, from our own life experience, from our own background and training. Yes. So there's multiple ways where that statement comes up.
All right, well, let's get down into it. We've now got a question that says, would love to hear everyone's purpose, except for Austin. Don't want to hear his. So, Avital, let's go ahead and start with you.
My purpose is to uplift others. When I meditated on this, I got the statement, the wisdom bringer. So as long as I feel like God is giving me information to share, then it's my job to just keep sharing it. And I just try to do my best. I will tell you, if you ever look at how much content I already have out there, there's probably 10 times more. Okay, so there's like 500 YouTube videos. There's 300 Sit and Succeed recordings. There's 100 podcast episodes, 50 blog posts, like multiple books. There's tons more in my head just waiting to be produced. So it's very, very clear every day because it's so just like prevalent right there. Give this to people. Make their lives easier.
All right, Michelle, you're up next.
I think my purpose is to help others. I get a lot of people that have disabilities that I get into my life. And I believe sometimes it's really to help and to encourage other people to find their way too. I usually gravitate towards a lot of my students that'll come in. They're the ones that might not really fit in, or they might be getting bullied. And I just seem to, the universe loves to bring people to me like that. And other times that help can even be, I could just be out in public. There was a woman that fell over and I was helping her get back up, and I was just in that right place at the right time. And I think it's just looking for those opportunities to be of help and service.
Fantastic. All right, Dr. Len, what is your purpose?
Gosh, well, being a father and having 3 kids, my purpose is one, to help make those guys, like the little lions that can roar when they get older. So that's one of my main purposes. But for other people, just trying to help them realize that, you are what you eat, you are what you think. What are you eating? What are you thinking to get yourself to where you want to be? And so often, I've seen it in, my family. I've seen it with patients. It's always somebody else's fault because they didn't achieve this or that. And, most of the time it's not. It's, what are you doing? You're the one up at the plate. Are you going to hit the ball? Are you going to sit there and just say, well, I'm not going to, it came too fast or too slow or too curvy or whatever. So you have to deal with the challenges that come your way. And are you doing what you need? Are you preparing yourself to whatever challenge comes your way, with mental, physical, spiritual, do you have the armor to help get you through all that stuff? In short.
All right, Lori, you're up next.
Well, I think everybody, like, man, big shoes to follow. I really do think that I'm here to help people. I mean, like, it could even be like in business, right? I see something broken and I instantly like map out how to fix it right away. So it's not just, I think, on an everyday personal level, but it's, I think about like, and I'm so sorry, you're also a teacher, so am I. And I kind of think about exactly what you were saying. It's like, I gravitate to those people who understand that like our uniqueness is really what stands out. I tell everybody, like, be different, don't be the same, right? Show up as authentically you. So I just really think it's helping people seeing through that, like the genuality of who we are and how we show up. I think Avital said, the energy of like the vibrations of good people around each other, and just, I don't know, helping everybody to find that and be able to experience it at least once in their life so they know what that really feels like.
Fantastic. All right, we got another question. This is a very interesting one. All right. Is it selfish to live only for me and my family, not helping the world? I feel weak to helping the world and others.
I would love to take this one. I would actually love to spend a few days discussing it, but let me just say really briefly. First of all, we can redefine what selfish is. We can redefine whether or not selfish is good or bad. When you look at what your purpose is, look deeper as to what it is. I talked about it's not what you do, it's how you do what you do. Everything is about what gives your life meaning. What reason am I here for? It's not about how much impact you're making on the world. I believe we're all making an equal amount of impact. It's just visually, when I said I'm going to influence thousands of people, right? That was my purpose that I saw when I was sick. And somebody else was like, I'm going to raise amazing kids. You're equal. So you don't need to think there's any lesser or better out there, bigger shoes to fill, smaller shoes to fill. everything has equal value if it's the true impulse that you feel inside.
Right. I honestly believe everything counts that you do. Every little thing that you do really does count. And you might also just be in a season in your life where maybe this is the time to focus in on the family and the ones that are in your immediate circle. And you never know, maybe eventually that could expand. But for right now, you're fulfilling what you're supposed to be doing at this time.
Anybody
like
else
that.
want to take a shot at this?
I'm trying to remember what the real question was and everything exactly. But hearing a response, it just kind of makes me think. Can you give? Life, in my opinion, is a give and take. Sometimes there are some people that are like financially, they're so financially able to help others, right? And many do, and some don't. But it's a give and take. Sometimes you never know when you're going to be on the high end, and you can just give. But there's it's just not finances that you may not be the greatest at. You could be struggling in emotional challenges, physical challenges, spiritual challenges, and so you're not always on the high end. But I think there's always a give and take that goes through society with people and everything, and you can't always be at the top end. And because I hear this too often with people that are financially very well off, they don't know how to receive sometimes because they're just always so used to giving financially. But it's a give and take through everything, not just finances, but your emotions, your physical, your spiritual, and all that stuff as well. So you never know when you're going to be riding high, and weeks later, months later, days later, you may be on the low end. And so just trying to always just keep that in perspective.
Yeah, I want to throw something in there. I think kind of was already said. I always say pour into what you can and stop worrying about what you can't, because at the end of the day, you got to worry about yourself. It's amazing that you're that focused on your family, and if that's what you can pour into, you are more than enough. That's it.
Well said. Well said. All right, guys, that brings us to our part in the show where we have to come up with our daily challenge. So here's what we have to do: come up with a task and or series of tasks that takes less than 5 minutes a day, costs $0, is available to anyone in the world from the Dominican Republic to Puerto Rico, that helps us improve our spiritual health with purpose. What ideas do you have?
Well, you guys heard mine, which is look up what your character strength is and creative on how to integrate that. Like if you're a waitress, making it the best moment of somebody's day, if it's perseverance, helping people with accountability, and so on.
I think one thing you could do is just look for one thing that you can do that you can help somebody, or you can help yourself, or something that you can serve with a purpose at.
I would just add, it's like, I think Abby said, accountability, and it's accountability and feedback. And that's what I saw with my patients always, because they would come in, when we're talking just about health, and I would not expect them to have 21 great meals in the next 7 days, right? 3 meals, 7 days a week, but it would be nice, right? But if they could do what I would always tell them, if you can just see yourself having, let's say 17, 18 good meals, and have maybe 2 or 3 bad, your cheat meals out there, 18 good meals, 3 bad meals for the week, that's pretty good. That's moving down the road. And so, it's accountability and feedback. And so, that's kind of how my little 5-step thing evolved. Hey, are you really doing what you need to be doing to get where you want to go?
Yeah, I love that. I think back to what I said at the beginning, getting quiet so you can hear yourself again. If you can't hear your soul when your brain's screaming, take 10 minutes, turn everything off, turn the phone off, no music, no distractions, just sit, breathe, ask yourself, like, what do I need right now? And then actually listen to yourself.
Hey, if I can add one thing to what I think a couple of you guys said, that quiet time right now, till history of time, until the last 10 years, there was always so much quiet time. Now you can't, you can't go anywhere without this guy, and you see everybody on it all the time. You have to give your brain some quiet time. And I know some people will say, well, I don't like the quiet time. It doesn't make me feel good. That's when you're supposed to, think about what's going on. What are you doing? Maybe that's why you are stuck where you're at, because you never focus on where you want to go, because you're just always finding other distractions. And so the quiet time is so important. I know my kids hate me because I'm like, turn them off, because we just get so much distraction with these. I mean, as much as I love this guy, but I know when to turn it off. And just for a lot of people, it's kind of like the new, it's kind of, they're just trying to pump it in their body all the time, and they're addicted to it. And so the more you can try to find that quiet time, and self-reflection is huge. And I know you guys have already stated that and everything. So two more cents.
All right, so I don't have a whole lot. We kind of talked a lot about purpose, but not necessarily tiny tasks throughout the day. So we can turn off our phone. We can think about it. I've got essentially, every day, think of one of your strengths and how you can implement it to help others. I think that's great. And then we've got take 2 minutes of complete silence and ask yourself and listen to your soul and ask yourself, what makes you get up in the morning? How do we like that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, then I guess we did get it. Fantastic. All right, guys.
I'm not going to say the pause.
Well done. Thank you so much. I'm going to put y'all backstage and wrap this show up.
Wrap it
Aye. Why is it not working? And we did have a question from the audience on my purpose. So I'm going to take a minute or two and kind of talk about that. Maybe, unless this screws up. So, oh man, I would say that this show essentially is a lot of my purpose. I spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot. And I was to teach, and I always thought making money was easy. My course. Working out.